Hey everybody, Andrew Zimmern here. Ask me anything. It's been a crazy week on Substack. Sorry for the late posting, but we have great questions today, so let's get right to it. And by the way, if you want to be someone who asks me questions and have me respond to them, send them on in. Information is right below. Stephanie P. writes, in every country you visited, you've been welcomed so warmly by people proud of their traditions, history, community, and to have a chance to share it with others. Some of those countries have since fallen into conflict and chaos, either within themselves or with other countries. Think of your trip to Syria, Russia, so many other episodes. That's true. Let's also include places with natural disasters. The area on Samoa where we shot our show, almost everyone in that episode was the victim of the horrific tsunami there 6 years ago. All of these amazing people who were later involuntarily dragged into someone else's idea of the way things should be, how do you cope with it? Have you been able to keep in touch with some of these people to see if they're okay? My heart bleeds for all of them. Yes, you are exactly right. It's very difficult to cope with. You meet a lot of people, then you find out that especially with our Syria show, we looked and inquired after everyone, almost all of our fixers and contacts there, journalists who, for those that don't know, we went and shot a show in Syria, and a month after we left, the war broke out, and it was absolutely horrific. And places like Palmyra and the Souk in Aleppo, two of the most amazing physical places that I've ever visited in my lifetime, are simply rubble. But almost all of those people that we checked on were okay. Now, we didn't have a chance. I don't know what happened to the wild butchers in the halal camel shop. But they had, actually, I don't think I've ever told this story, but we were in a very, very bad neighborhood for Americans to be in. And there was a lot of illegal activity, shall we say, there. And the butchers were involved in this whole thing, and we ran out of there before we actually finished our work, but we're still able to cobble together a nice moment there. I don't know what's happened to those people. But yeah, we do check after people. It's extremely hard. You forge some pretty intense relationships. And social media has allowed me to keep up with a lot of them. And yeah, it is one of the heartbreaking experiences associated with travel, is getting close to people, and then crisis and chaos and conflict intervenes, and you don't know what happens, or you lose contact with them, and that is a harsh lesson in life, and one that that's why I say travel is transformative. It's helped me deal with that in my regular life here. At home in my regular life. Denise writes, when I travel out of my Midwestern town, the first thing I gravitate to is the fruit. Everything is better than what I find in Illinois. With summer approaching, can you share some of your favorite exotic fruit finds? I love this question because I'm obsessed with fruit, and it's why I go into so many markets. And, there are farmers markets all over Illinois where you will find people who are selling maybe a small orchard that has some great plums in season, fantastic apples, strawberry fields that you can pick your own. But I do love my equatorial farmers markets for fruits that really don't even have a name except a nickname to the people in that region who have a Dr. Seuss fruit that they eat. I loved chamoy and mamey and all of the incredible tropical fruits that we do not get here. But I think one of the great crimes of the American supermarket is they sell unripened fruit. And I've been lucky enough, in islands in the Philippines, Samoa, actually, in the market there, Maketi Fu in Apia. Was a market where the only place in the world where this upside down banana grows. So it actually, most bananas grow this way, and right, they grow that way, and they're red, and they're incredibly sweet and long. It's the world of fruit is so large and so immense globally. It's a fantastic thing to enjoy, and I write about it. I wrote a whole chapter about this in my first book. So yeah, I love it, but it's fantastic to go to the farmers market, Eastern Market in Detroit, and get pawpaws in season. I love being in the the southern mid-Atlantic states, and in the South where muscadines come into season in the spring and early summer. I mean, one of my favorite fruits of all time. So yeah, I even traveling around the United States, I stop in at the Taos Pueblo. I got some incredible pine nuts and air-dried tomatoes and things. I don't know. The world of food is so fantastic. I really think that people should always be checking out local markets. It's also why I always travel with a small pocket knife, because when I'm out and about, I can cut something open. This is a great post, from a reader, Quinn, who has spinal muscular atrophy and is wheelchair bound, not able to use his body much. Super passionate, super educated about food and cooking. And he wrote in, any advice for someone trying, I'm just moving this so I can read, any advice for someone trying to get into the culinary field, particularly with consulting recipe development? I'm somebody with a severe physical disability, so I can't go to culinary school or work my way up through restaurant jobs. Still, I develop recipes, make my own food content, and self-published a cookbook. Without more formal education and experience, it's difficult to make the jump into having actual professional opportunities. So I'd love any thoughts you might have. First of all, I started following Quinn. He is QDragon1337 on Instagram. QDragon1337 on Instagram. From there, you can link to his YouTube, which is Cooking with Q, or his podcast, which is called Brainstorm Kitchen. First of all, Quinn, your stuff is amazing. I mean, olive oil tastings, homemade guanciale. What else did I see? Kiwi sorbetto on your Instagram page. You're doing stuff at a really, really advanced level already. And I would say you're already ahead of where a lot of people are. I'm assuming that, your disability makes it difficult for you to travel and to navigate kitchens. And so I would say just, friend to friend, new friend to new friend, that the virtual world is going to be your friend here. You can hop on to YouTube and just, Google clams and black bean sauce Taiwan and watch 500 chefs over there make that dish. You can learn a ton of stuff, and you might not be able to be a line cook in a restaurant, which makes me sad. If that was your goal and that's what you wanted to do, maybe we need to start to look at how to design restaurant kitchens so that people who are not normatively abled can navigate them. But that doesn't mean that you can't be one of the country's greatest chefs. Not all great chefs work in restaurants. There's incredible opportunities out there, and I'll message you on Instagram and maybe we can take this offline. But everyone out there should start following Quinn and see what we're talking about. What would you do if the traditional roots of how we rise up in the cooking world were unavailable to us? Well, we would find a different way to navigate to the top. And there are always different ways to navigate to the top. Follow Quinn. Instagram is QDragon1337. Brainstorm Kitchen is his podcast. And Cooking with Q is his YouTube channel. Dude, I don't even make homemade guanciale, and I'm dying to find out whether that marinated one with the wet rub turned out for you. Anyway, I'll message you, Quinn. We'll figure this out. But you can do amazing things in your own kitchen and spread it out across the world and influence maybe even more people than you would if you were working in a restaurant. And if it's your dream to work in a restaurant, I'll help you find a place that you can go into and at least stage in and experience what that's like. Great question, and I'm really impressed with your stuff.